Hey, this is Matt from Budget Boosting. We're in Tokyo, Japan, and I'm going to do this video on how to drive in Japan, driving in Japan, because this isn't common knowledge. Most Americans think you can get off the airplane, grab a GTR, go rent it, drive around Tokyo, all is good. Well, you got to know what's up first. And I'm going to take a walk around this car. At the airport, you can rent cars like this. This is pretty much a very common car in Japan. A very small, very narrow, front-wheel drive car. And the reason why they're small is look at the parking spots. This little car barely fits. And if you make a mistake, you're going to adjust your body really quick like. And as you can see, so far the body on this car looks really good, so I've been doing a good job. Isn't my first rodeo, but a lot of you, it will be your first rodeo, so I'm going to go over things here. Alright, this is your license plate. Every car in Japan has the kanji right here. This means Kawas. This means Shinagawa. River. 503, that's usually a combination of your body size, engine size, and a bunch of other things. And of course your numbers of your license plate and the area of Japan that you're in. This is the area, but this is also like a smaller area or a kind of a sub number, because once you run out of 1289, you're gonna have to make another kanji or another symbol before you make more numbers. So that's just kind of what your plate looks like. This is Suzuki. This particular car is called a Suzuki Swift. Look at your engine. Remember on my intakes video, look how small that little breather is. This is the source of all your air for your whole engine. And look at that nice little header. Isn't that nice? Really small, 4-cylinder. But believe it or not, this car, this engine, actually goes quite well. For its size and for what it is, this little engine is the engine that can. And when we get driving, this little thing can do some stuff, and it gets around 60, 70 miles to the gallon, but it's measured in kilometers. So kilometers per liter. We go miles per hour or miles per gallon. They go kilometers per liter here. So this car will go about 30 to 40 kilometers per 1 liter of fuel. And 1 liter of fuel, okay, you get 1 gallon of fuel, it's 3.8 liters per 1 gallon. So think of, you know, a 2-liter bottle and another liter bottle of fuel, and you're getting, you know, 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers with that. So if you do some quick math, it's probably 60, 70 miles to the gallon for this particular car. So you won't see cars like this in the States because, you know, the big fuel companies make money from cars that don't get this efficient fuel economy. So figure it out. We'll take a quick walk around. This is the hood. I'm going to shut it. They got their little hood latch up here. And here's where you check your oil. That's your air cleaner, brake fluid, ABS master, windshield wiper fluid, radiator overflow, and look at your happy little battery right there. And don't touch, that's your exhaust. Isn't that cool? Look at the little hand there telling you not to touch the exhaust system. And you can look down here, there's where you put your engine oil. Of course, it's a dual overhead cam engine, but there's where you put your oil, there's where you check your oil. And there's your alternator and your fan belt. Well, not a fan belt, but accessory belt, because your fans are in the front right here, the electric fans. That's your air conditioning. And there you go. And we'll shut the hood. Alright, now a quick walk around the car. Almost 98% of cars in Japan have folding mirrors. Things get really tight when you're driving in Japan. It's not uncommon that you touch mirrors. Mirrors, if they're extended and you're driving down a narrow road, because they're half of what we have. Our smallest roads, they got half of that in the back streets, and sometimes you touch each other's mirrors. So if you think you're going to touch somebody's mirrors, you push the button, fold them in. And then you don't touch mirrors, you start touching bodies if things get too tight. All right, now we're gonna get inside the car. Okay, we're in the car. Now the first thing you notice is, hey, my steering wheel's over here. It's on the right side. Yep. Here's the place where you normally steer from in America. Of course, in Australia, you steer on the right too, so anyone from Australia, I know what the comments are gonna be. You also drive on the right-hand side. I know I've driven there. Okay, well, here's those mirrors I was telling you about. And first thing we'll do is we'll start the car and I'll show you some things. Push the brake. There's a little electric start button right here. Okay, we're started. Good habit, put your seatbelt on. One thing most Americans make a mistake doing is they're used to signaling on the left, right? So you're driving, all of a sudden you signal. Oops, I turned the windshield wipers on. So remember, Japan, right hand on the wheel, right hand does the signals. See? Right hand does the signals. Now, in Japan, I told you about the mirrors. Little button right here. Unfold your mirrors. All right. Horns in the same place. Everything's in kilometers, so your gauges are in kilometers an hour, 200 kilometers an hour, about 120 miles an hour. Tachometer, this little engine's the engine that could. Easily almost 7,000 RPMs. There's your fuel gauge, engine temp gauge, hazards, very important, because when you're driving in Japan, if somebody lets you in, you have to be nice and say thank you. Thank you for letting me in, or they'll think you're rude. So you put these hazards on that says thank you. You just do it quickly. Say somebody lets you in, they like flash your headlights at you. That means, hey, I'm letting you in, and then you pull in front and say thank you. Or vice versa. You go like this, that means you're letting somebody in. And then they will do this to you and say thank you. It's kind of like a communication by way of cars talking to each other. So it's all about respect here, and you treat each other with respect while driving. However, not everybody's like that, but a lot of people are. So when you're treated with respect and you give the respect, it's a lot easier driving around here. And another thing to understand, not like many years ago, the police are everywhere, so don't make a mistake. All right, for example, one-way road, when you go one way, even in the parking lot, don't go the wrong way. There's usually a police guy waiting somewhere to give you a ticket. So we're going to start driving, and really important thing is a navigation system. And you can see it's got mixed English and Japanese, kind of hard to understand. But we're going to kind of go to the Kanagawa area, which is around the Naval Air Station of Atsugi, where a lot of Americans are stationed at. So we're going to go in that area because that's where I used to be, gosh, almost 30 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. Okay, so we push this little button here, and you can either put the name of where we're going, or history is what I like to do. Everywhere you found, put the history, and you can kind of save your history. That's kind of easier to find your way around, or you spell something out. Like, say I want to find something like my favorite place, Up Garage. I'm going to go back. And Up Garage is a great place to find some used car parts because I'm a car freak, so that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to try to go Up Garage. Oh, it won't let me do it.
And it should be noted that you can't use spaces in this navigation system.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, we've tried all kinds of things, and sometimes we're not too lucky. But I found the easiest way is to, when you want to go to a certain area, type in the name of the area, like Atsugi. That's a city that we know of. So we put in Atsugi. And okay. Then it tells you all the things that are around Atsugi. Atsugi City, Kanagawa Prefecture. That's the area we're going to, so we'll just kind of look around here. Okay, all the different things of Atsugi. Kanagawa. Look at them all. Look at all the different things. There's a lot of Atsugi. Denny's Atsugi shop. Hey, that looks like a good pointer. That'll get us near where we want to go. So let's pick Denny's. And then let's say go there. And then we say destination. And it looks like it's going to tell us something now. Get ready to calculate. So then we say guide us there. And we're going to start driving. See these mirrors? Say I don't want to hit this. I just push the button. Hold my mirrors in. Go into drive and slowly navigate my way out. Or you can use your mirrors so you make sure you're not hitting the car next to you. But I know I'm not hitting the car next to me. Now I can put my mirrors back out. And I see I'm clear. Take a big right. Work my way out slowly. And this parking garage is in a hotel that most military guys stationed here knows, called the New Sano Hotel in Tokyo. This is the best place to stay for us because it's like one train stop away from Roppongi, the party district of Japan, of Tokyo. So it's the best place to be. Alrighty then, we're going to leave this parking lot and just watch how the driving goes, and I'll add any comments that I believe are necessary. Look how much traffic's around. Not easy. Not easy getting yourself out here. Oh look, a Rolls Royce. A lot of money around Tokyo. Look at all the vehicles you'll never see in America. Check them all out. Except that Impreza STI, you'll see one of those. But not too much else. Alright. In Japan, you drive on the left side of the road.
Did you mention the tolls?
And oh, unless you got a lot of money in your pocket, don't go there. Those are the tolls. Tolls usually start at about $15 to $20 every time you get on one of those, and every exit adds another $15, $20. So it's one of those things you don't want to go on unless you got lots of yen in your pocket or one heck of a credit card. So you want to try to find your way around without having to take the toll roads. It's a lot easier and less expensive. And the thing about the toll roads is there's nowhere to take a break. And it looks like we have to turn again. See the police guy with the wand? There's a bunch of police cars, fire trucks, and all that good stuff. See, the police are the ones holding the wands, and they got the hat on and the jackets, and they're all black pretty much. And the police cars here have flashing red lights. The police cars in America are blue and red, but the ones here are just red flashing lights. And they leave the lights on all the time, you know? So you think you're gonna get pulled over because the police lights are in back of you? Don't worry about it. When they want to pull you over, they'll start talking to you with a megaphone. Hey, pull over, but they'll be saying it in Japanese, so you kind of have to know what being pulled over means. Oh, look, I can go straight. I'll be damned. I didn't think I'd be able to go straight, but now I can. They're waving us through something that happened here. There's all the police, there's all the fire engines, all that good stuff. You don't get to see this anywhere. Their fire engines are really small because the roads here are very small. So their vehicles have to be sized accordingly for the size of the road. Oh, here's a Japanese gas station, see? You never have to pump your own gas. They always pump it for you, and they empty your trash and they clean your windows. Best gas stations I've ever been to. And you buy gas by the liter, not the gallon. So here we are driving on the left side of the road. There's a couple lanes, but you kind of have to drive where you fit here because everybody else is, see? Because the vehicles are too big for the road. So you got to watch out for everybody like this bus right here. If you don't watch out, he'll hit you and you'll kind of be screwed because you're the foreigner. You know, you're the foreigner, they blame you for it unless they do something really bad. Because you're the foreigner, you're supposed to be the professional driver. That's what you're considered. You're considered a professional driver when you're here. So you're basically expected to be just as good as they are. That's the expectation, which is good in one aspect, but the truth is, we all have to learn the tricks of driving here. We know how to drive a car, but driving here is a whole nother thing. Yellow plate. Any car with less than 1,000cc engine has a yellow plate. And they're really small, they're really light, and most of them have motorcycle engines in them. Another car you won't see in America running around because they're really small. But perfect for here because the roads are small. The easiest cars to drive around are these yellow plate cars. They don't take up much space. If you want to drive a Skyline GTR, you got to get used to the little space that you have, and the GTR is almost as wide as the road. So you have to get really close to other cars when you're driving those fast cars, those really fancy cars in Japan. So when you're first starting to drive, I recommend learning on a small car, and then when you get really good, then you graduate to a bigger car and faster car like a Skyline or a Supra or something like that. The fast cars that everybody likes in the States. Honestly, the best thing I think you can do is you go get a Skyline GTR and you bring it to America. We got the big roads and all that good stuff. Now we're driving again. As you can see, look at all the signs, they're different. That little thing that says 50 means 50 kilometers an hour speed limit. The red sign with the slash in it means no parking. See? No parking. But guess what? Lots of people parking, so a lot of people don't follow the signs, but if you're a foreigner and you do that, you get a big ticket. The Japanese get away with it because they're from here. So only if they park for too long will they get a ticket. You and me, though, us foreigners, we park there for 10 minutes, we'll have a ticket, and our car will be gone. So don't do it. Okay, whoa, watch out for bicycles and pedestrians because there's a certain way this works. It's called I call it the totem pole. Whoever's highest on the totem pole wins. Now, there's a bus. The bus is kind of low on the totem pole. If he hits anybody, it's his fault. A scooter, if you hit a scooter, it's always your fault no matter what. If you hit a person walking, always your fault no matter what. If you hit a bicycle, I don't care if the guy drops out of the sky and you hit him, it's your fault. So, number one on the totem pole is a pedestrian. Anybody hits a pedestrian, you lose. Number two is a bicycle with a person. You hit a bicycle. If you're not a bicycle or a person and you hit a bicycle, you lose. If you're a car and you hit a person on a scooter, that's next on the totem pole. You lose. If you're a car and you hit anyone on a bicycle, a scooter, a pedestrian, instantly lose no matter what the situation. Even if they're raining from the sky, you lose. So, best thing is watch every little thing you can, because if anything comes in front of you that is smaller than you, it's instantly your fault, no questions asked. And the second you're a foreigner and you hit anything, it's your fault. Unless they just come out of the blue and hit you, and it's still your fault. So, best thing to do when you're driving in Japan, drive like everything depends on it, because it does. Everything depends on you driving in Japan accurately. And if you want to do some racing, do it on the track, because these streets are no place for racing. Now, back in the 20, 30 years ago, street racing was big here. But you have to pick a street where there's nobody there, like a factory area. The factory areas where there's like nobody there at night, that's where a lot of people would do the street racing. But now, the street racing scene is dead. There's a police officer on a motorcycle right there. That's what they look like. And here's people crossing the street. And you always got to be watchful, because even if it turns green and I run into this guy or he runs into me, it's my fault. if he runs into my car and I'm not even moving and he keels over, it's my fault. And since the police guy sees a foreigner, anything I do is my fault. Anything someone else does is my fault. So, you know, that kind of thing. Always watch out if you see the police, because they will blame you for anything. And they'll pull you over just because you look like me. There's no such thing as discrimination in Japan, except you're the one discriminated against, and there's no such thing. So if something happens and you say, hey man, you're just doing this to me because I'm a foreigner, they say, so? There's nothing you can do. You just get used to it. Say you want a job in Japan and you're a different color, they don't want to hire you, that's okay. It's not illegal here. You can hire people, anyone you want, for any reason you want. Because getting a job here is like joining a family. And they will only hire you if they feel you are worthy of being in their family. So having a job in Japan is being part of a family. And driving here is like an extension of you. So here's where we're going to turn at, Route 246. And that's where we're going, because 246 is my favorite road. And see how I have to drive very carefully, since now I'm in the left lane and I have to go out of the left lane and in the left lane to avoid hitting something like this bicycle right here. So I'm going to have to sit here like this in between two lanes so I can get around this van and not hit this bicycle. And I'm probably going to have to get really close to all these guys so I can go past. So here's my mirrors. Got to watch my mirrors. Get really close to all these guys. Make sure he doesn't open his door. Okay. And I go left. See, I haven't been driving here for a while, so I'm not as fast as all these other Japanese that are used to going around people. You'll see the craziest, fastest drivers are what's in front of me right now, a taxi. See that taxi right there? They will get within a credit card's distance between every car, and they don't care. I mean, they will drive as fast as humanly possible. They will cut you off. As long as they don't hit you, everything's good. And they never seem to get pulled over by the police. So watch out for the taxis. They are the craziest drivers here. So whenever you see a taxi, make sure you keep your distance, because if he hits you, it's your fault. Because he's a commercial vehicle, he's a taxi, and you're an American, so you're the lowest on the totem pole, no matter what.
Explain the traffic lights, how it can still be red.
Okay, let's look at the traffic light. Right now it's red, which means nobody can go. Now, what we're going to see is if you see a left arrow and a straight arrow, that means people can go straight, people can go left, but no one else can go. If you see just a green light and nothing else, that means you can go in every direction as long as you can. But if you hit somebody, you're screwed. The people that have the right of way is everybody but you. Yes. Alright. This is where it gets interesting. This is kind of like the express lane, that's like the normal lane. The fast lane in Japan is to the right because we drive on the left. Totally opposite to what we're used to. Right now we're kind of in a tunnel and we're waiting for this light to turn green. Now if it turns regular green, we can go straight. If it just turns right arrow, we have to stop. If it turns straight and left, we can go. If it turns just left, we have to stand still. So now, okay, we can go. Only people straight can go. Everyone else has to stop. That's the rules. But there are people that break the rules, and there's a lot of police around here, so I highly don't recommend it. I've already been pulled over a few times, and I didn't even think I did anything wrong, but I did. I'll talk about the lines on the roads. Solid white, you have to stay within there. Dotted white, you can change lanes. Okay. Solid white, you have to stay in your lane. Solid yellow, no matter what, you cannot go into another lane. If you do, you get a big ticket. Okay, there's a big old bus. You wonder how he's going to fit in these roads, but somehow he does. Amazing, isn't it? All right. It's really hard on a road like this to avoid the highway, but this is the express lane. As long as the signs are blue, you're on a normal road. If you see the sign turn to green, every green road that you go on, right now it's blue, every green road you have to pay for. It's called a toll road. If the road has a blue sign, it's free. If the road has a green sign, you have to pay a toll. And you usually find out what the tolls cost when the guy talks to you, because the toll prices they show is what it costs when you first go in, or one exit. If you drive the entire road, you have to count the exits, because each exit you pay that money. So say for example, the green sign, you pull in, it says 1,000 yen. 1,000 yen means you'll pay that every single exit. You pay the 1,000 yen. So see how I'm looking? I'm like, okay, I'm in a turning lane, and luckily it's not solid, so I can change. And I can still go straight. Now, if I go over to the green sign, they're going to make me go on the highway. See, if you go straight ahead, you go right, you go to the highway. You go straight, you don't go on the highway. Me, I don't want to go on the highway because it's expensive. You can run out of money really fast if you end up on this road. Your whole vacation money will be spent on tolls. So unless you got a lot of money and a big credit card that works in Japan, don't go on the green road. If you want to drive for free, just the price of fuel, drive on the blue roads. Always follow the blue if you want to drive for free. That's as easy as it gets. You only pay for your fuel. Now fuel, there's 3 kinds of fuel at every gas station. Actually 4, but 3 for vehicles. Kerosene is for heaters, so that's one fuel. Doesn't apply to a car. You got diesel, which is the cheapest fuel by a long shot. You got regular gas, which is about 95 to 98 octane, and you got high octane fuel, which is 101 octane. You love it. You can get the real gas here. So if you got a Skyline GTR, you can actually fuel it with real fuel that is race gas for us. They get race gas at every gas station if you pick Hayok. So you go to the gas station, say, Hayok Montan des, which means, fill up my tank with Hayok, please. Or Hayok Montan kudasai. Okay, that means, fill up my tank with high octane, please. Now I'm sure there's some Japanese people watching me that'll argue I didn't say it right, but that's okay. It gets the point across. Alright, we're still driving now. We're waiting in traffic. Now, see above us? That's the highway. Above us is the highway, which you pay for, and this is the free route. Alright. Hey, they got some feathery friends crossing the street. And see, a Japanese guy come across, he wants to come in. So if I let him in, he will thank me with his hazards lights. So I'm going to stay right here and be nice and let him in. Which is nice when you're the other person, because if they let you in, that's a nice thing to do. Being polite gets you somewhere in this country. In America, they don't care. They'd probably shoot you. But over here, you be polite to each other. So I let him in. See? Watch me. I let him in, and he will say thank you, maybe put his hazards on. Well, he didn't. Yeah, he put his hazards on. That means thank you. Thank you for letting me in. And I say, okay. So, driving with courtesy in Japan goes a long way.